How many, how
Oops.
many,
Do you want me to kind of just take this here on this?
hi, good evening. This is Sylvia Alexander. I'm the chair of the Education, Libraries, and Cultural Affairs Committee, which is meeting right now. And welcome to everyone. Um, I would like to take the roll call while we wait for our speaker. Althea is here.
Present. Present. Oh, no, she's
Miriam,
present.
I know, is here. Gomez is absent. Emily,
Here.
good. Um, David?
David or
Who's
Daniel?
gonna-
I think Daniel.
Daniel?
Oh, Daniel. I put
Yeah,
down
yeah.
David. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'll correct that. Hey, Diana? No.
Absent.
Um, Georgia?
Here.
Oh, good. Okay, then we all are here. We have Julie Reyes also on the Zoom. She's the chair of the uh, Bronx to Community Board 8. Thank you for being here, Julie. That's it. Okay. At 7:45, we expect the principal of MSHS 368, which is down the hill.
Sylvia,
To,
excuse me, Sylvia, I believe he's here.
oh,
Believe he's here
wonderful.
now. Yep. There he is. Okay.
That's a David.
Oh, go on. David,
Hi.
oh, there we go.
Asked on you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, David.
Good evening. My pleasure.
Um, we've heard a lot about the fact that the cell phones are no longer welcome in the schools. And I thought that you would be a good person to ask how that is going in your middle school. Are the kids missing it? Are they the ones that put it in the shack across the street? No, that's for JFK, right?
I'm not familiar. The chat you said?
Yeah, there's a shack there that used to take the cell phones because they
Oh,
weren't allowed in
yeah,
school.
yeah. That was more for the JFK students
Yeah.
because they were a scan school, so they weren't allowed to bring their phones in.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, I mean, we actually started our own confiscation policy. This is our I want to say second year that we've been doing it. So we were a year ahead of the state
Oh,
law. Uh,
uh-huh.
we primarily just took our middle school students' phones, and we saw an immediate positive impact on just the attention to detail in the students' work. We actually saw an increase the last few years of our state data and student performance on the state examinations. Um, the biggest thing that we saw right away when we did this a few years ago was the interaction that students had with each other during the lunch periods and during the gym periods. There was no phone to distract them, so they actually had to communicate with each other.
Right.
So it was great to see the person-to-person communication, more participation in, the physical education classes, more engagement in the classrooms when we walked in. The first year I did it, I had communicated with my PTA, my school leadership team, and my staff just to get a sense of what the support would be like. And those constituencies were in favor of it. And we had a few students, we tried to give them voice. So we had some that were trying to petition me to, remove the policy. I kind
Sure.
of I quickly asked them to go talk to their parents, and they never came back again to ask me to lift the policy. Um, The biggest thing this year for us was just instituting it with our high school students. That was a new policy for us under the state law. So again, just to see our high school students now engaging with each other in a more positive environment, human to human conversations and rapport, relationships, engagement has been on the uptick. The other thing that I started to poll the kids just informally when this policy went in, maybe 2 or 3 weeks in, and I just asked the students, how are they responding to this, the high school students? And I'll take them at their word. The handful of students that I spoke to said that they actually didn't mind, that it wasn't really an inconvenience for them. They know that they're in school to learn, and I think they didn't say this, but the educator in me wanted to hear or believe that what they were saying was thank you in a way, because they couldn't make that decision, and now that the decision has been made for them, I think it's just been easier for them to accept it. So. I think, they're really, honestly, I thought there was going to be a lot more pushback even from the parents, even though that this is state law, and we were publicizing it very often and consistently over the summer with our parents, both on social media and our internal platforms. But not one person really complained or had an issue. The biggest question we get from parents is, given the society and the times we live in, if there's an emergency, what's going to happen?
Right.
And so, we have protocols in place, and that protocol is kind of like it was for probably many of us growing up. If you wanted to talk to your child or there's an emergency, you call the school. And if
Mhm.
the child wants to reach home because of something, we have plenty of office phones that students can make calls from. So, parents are quickly alleviated with that response. They were, like 2 months ago, and really there hasn't been an issue. Parents are supportive if students seem to kind of try to skirt around the policy. Um, but so far so good.
Right. I read something on my cell phone today about it, and there was a teacher that said the lunchrooms are very, very noisy right now. I would imagine yours are too. And I
They
thought
are.
that was a good thing.
I agree. I love the noise
Yeah,
because that means there's something, they're talking, they're engaging, and
exactly.
it's our responsibility to make sure it's structured. So, we have games and activities. If it's cold weather or bad weather, we take them out as much as we can if the weather is, conducive for that. And it's our job to keep them busy during
Yeah,
those, more unstructured times. But I love the
right.
noise.
Right, right. While I have you, David, one of the items that I have on the agenda, and I don't expect you to stay for it because it'll be at the end of the meeting, were the capital letters that the budget letters that I usually send to the schools. I
Yes.
have not sent them out yet, but
Okay.
now that you're here in yourself, is there anything that you might, off the top of your head, change from what I had last year?
Do you have what we submitted last
Yes,
year?
I did. We have. Just a minute. I had you as number one. Something about the building management system that controls the computer that controls the heat and the air conditioning. Is
Yeah.
that still on the blink?
Let me, if I may, let me confirm with my custodial manager tomorrow, just to make sure that might still be the situation. If it is, I'll confirm. If not, I'll ask if there's any other considerations that you guys would think about.
Right. And the other thing was lockers, but I've had that for many, many years, and they
Yeah.
don't seem to grab onto that at all. But
So
you want me to leave that in there?
let me, if I may, let me get back to you because I did. I learned at the end of last school year what technically counts as capital improvement and what doesn't. And I
Uh-huh.
think the lockers may fall into that category, and that's probably why maybe they don't pick it up or consider it. So let me
Yeah.
just confirm tomorrow what actually considered capital expenditure.
Right.
Um,
Well, I had the lockers under expense because we
okay.
do capital and expense.
Okay.
But you're right about that. But see if they still want that
Okay. I will.
or anything new.
I
The
appreciate.
letters will go out sometime in December,
Okay.
but I haven't okayed that yet. So
Okay.
I just want to take the opportunity, being I have you here now.
I appreciate that.
Are there any questions from the committee
Yeah,
on
I have
anything?
a couple of questions for the principal. Are you a scanning school or not? And how do you store the phones? So you're using Yonder pouches or do you have another storage method?
Yeah, great question. So we are thankfully not a scan school, and we have two different systems given the age level. So my middle school, since we had started this prior to the law expectation, um, we store the middle school students' phones in a pouch that gets stored in like a protective travel case. So if you think of like how maybe rockers kind of move their gear and equipment from concert to concert. It's kind of like a protected foam case labeled by the student's class that they'll have at the end of the day. And those get taken from the morning breakfast time and stored in a secure place. And then because of the age level, we did the Yonder pouches for my high school students, where they, put it in the pouch. It's locked. They hold on to it for the day, and at dismissal, there are various unlocking boxes that unlock the phones. They keep the pouches. That's their pouch. We have them numbered so we know if a student loses it, who we can return it to, and that it's their responsibility.
Okay, and just one other question. I know when I was teaching in school, a lot of our issues with bullying came through the cell phone discourse. So I
Yeah.
wanted to know from you if you've seen a reduction in those kind of conflicts, and now that they don't have access to that phone during the school day, has
Yeah.
there been a reduction in those type of incidents and occurrences?
So I'm going to have to speak anecdotally, not pure facts here with numbers, but I believe there have been a lot less incidents because of that. The ease of having that phone to send the group chats out or the Snapchats or whatever platform they're using. And we've been doing a lot more education around cyberbullying and appropriate social media use with our students through our Respect for All programs. So you asked a great question. I'm just curious now. So I'm going to look at the data myself tomorrow to see what types of things have been shared. But I believe there have been a lot less incidents around that during the school day component. Yeah.
That's good.
Yes, I agree.
I have a question.
Yes.
Hi, Wiseberg. I don't know if you remember me. I'm Daniel. I worked at Intech in like around 2017. I was the IT guy with Mr. Singh.
Okay, Daniel, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How's everything with you?
I can't complain, man. I'm blessed to do what I do every day.
That's cool. Well, you know me. I have a strong affection to like Intech, and I love to see us doing great things over there. But I have a couple questions. So
Yes.
when would you say you started noticing like the cell phones being like so? This may be a dumb question, but like it was having such a negative impact on the school. Like when did you first started seeing that? And like to add on to that, like how long do you think until those things get, I guess, fixed? Because like to because the school it does have a middle school and high school, and if we just started this last year, there's still some kids that probably came into the school with kind of with those bad habits, and like maybe it's gonna take for them to graduate for that to get for things to get like back to how it was before, like the positive things that were done before. But I want to ask you on that, and then I have another question after that.
Yeah, so look, we always had a policy prior to the pandemic of like off and away, meaning, we shouldn't see the phones, we shouldn't hear the phones. For the most part, students were pretty receptive to that policy. the hallways were always something different. The phones would come out, you'd see students kind of listening in their ear pods to their music, and getting onto the text chats. But I think really after the pandemic, for about 2, 3 years, we really saw students. It was hard for them to really put those phones down, and keep them away. It became a distraction in the class. About 2.5 years ago or so, teachers started implementing policies in their classrooms. They would call them the cell phone or the cell hotel. So like a little shoe rack, if you will, or a calculator rack. And as the kids came in, they would have to put their phones in there. So at least they were up in a safe place, visible, but the teacher knew and the kids knew that's where they were, and we couldn't use them in that class. It was, prior to the pandemic, we had a policy because we were a tech school. There's a lot of tech innovation where it's just sometimes easier to use your phone to engage with a simple program like Kahoot, which is like an online quiz, program type of thing. So we always, it's always weird for us as a tech school what we want to limit and what we want to allow. But I would say after the pandemic, it became a lot harder because I think with that year and a half of online learning, and sitting on screens, it just became kind of second or first nature, really, for kids to be on these devices. And so now that the policy's in place, we've seen a drastic reduction. We really don't see the phones out. They're not blatant with walking around with having them out, as they were obviously when the policy was off and away. Um, there was another question I think you were asking about, like, what may happen if like students, something about graduating. Can you just repeat that other question, Daniel?
Like, how long do you think it'll take for things to get back to normal, given the fact that the school does have a middle school, high school, and this was implemented last year, so like there might have been kids that were on the old, I guess you could call regime of ways of doing things. Like, how long do you think it's gonna get back to normal? And if it is now, then that's good, but just wondering.
Yeah, I mean, I think given that it's actually a state law with the phones, I think this is the new normal where they're not just going to be out and about. And I think we have a really strong team, right? So the city was very strong that the policies are supported and implemented by out of classroom staff, right? It's like it's not really the teacher's responsibility to collect phones and get and do those pieces. But we have a great community where teachers, want to work with students. So I guess if they've seen a few phones, they've had those conversations, they've spoken to maybe the counselor or the parent just to remind them of what the policies are. But I think this might be the new normal, Daniel, in terms of, that the phones will be out of sight, and not really on top of mind. And hopefully the engagement continues to stay the way it is in the classroom.
You know what I thought was, oh, sorry.
Oh, no.
No, what I thought was interesting when you were talking about how long it could last or whatever. What I thought was interesting is in one of the second mayoral debate,
Mm,
all mayoral candidates across the board supported the cell phone ban in schools,
yeah.
which I thought was fantastic because like no matter where you stood and no matter the outcome of the election,
Mm-hmm.
it was really supported and enforced. And David, my question, like fellow school administrator here, like how do you find the collection of cell phones like cumbersome on your staff, onerous on your staff at all, or no? I mean, I'm an early childhood principal, so my population doesn't have cell phones, but I just think about all the things we have to take out of their backpacks already. But I guess when you have middle schoolers, you're not taking out the water bottles and the lunch boxes and the things like that.
Yeah, thank goodness. I think, again, I have a really great team that's committed to making sure our students have what they need. And we were thinking about it all over the summer, really thinking out logistics. I had the key players at the table all summer. We were kind of gaming out a lot of different things of really how this could work, what makes the most sense. And so, look, last year, given that there was no contractual components on the teacher side with this, the collection of the phones were done actually in the classroom, right? So our first middle school first period teachers had these bins in the classroom. The kids locked them up there. They were collected, brought to a safe location, and then returned at the end of the day. Knowing that the contractual components changed around the state law, we had to rethink about who the support team was to do this. And so it happens in my cafeteria now. In the morning, as they come in for breakfast, they sit by their class. They have their bins. So, look, it honestly took, I want to say, 4 days for my team to get the kids to understand what the process was, how it was going to go. And I think honestly, by the fifth day, the middle of that real first week of school, you know, kids just want to know where the rules are, where the lines, right? And so if this is the line and I don't want to cross it, and so we put the boundaries in rather quick, and they stepped up. They're really great. So there really isn't an issue. A few students, that just may have some learning differences. We had to have some kind of separate conversations with them and their parents, and but that still only took another day or two, really, for some behaviors and reactions to kind of subside, or for us to put in some other expectations for these students before the phone was eventually taken away. But again, that happened rather quick. And so it didn't become too much of an issue, and we were able to actually pull one or two people out of the process because it was just oversaturation of the human capital that we didn't need.
I'm curious, about other personal devices like watches and
Mhm.
laptops.
Mhm.
I know that the high school that my kids go to, they took away laptops, so they can't
Yeah.
have personal devices at
Right.
all.
Right.
Mainly because you have the same platforms available there that you would, and I know in the middle school where I teach, a lot of the kids walk around with Apple Watches on.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, and they're not supposed to. So
Right.
it spends
Right.
a lot of my day like enforcing that, and I get a lot of that. It's an Amazon watch. It's like it's the same
It's just,
thing.
yeah.
Just because
Smart
it's
is
not like
smart.
the newest Apple Watch, it's not. That's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So wait, what?
Do you confiscate?
I do. You know what? I feel like rules.
You're
can be
brave.
maybe I'm wrong. I really do. I
They should
regret
be.
it.
I would just
Like
want-
I don't feel like it makes any sense for
Yeah.
you just to like have that access. And like I'm one of those probably scary teachers who makes the kids put them in the box. And then when they don't, I actually do something really I like don't say anything to them, and then at the end, like at a certain point in the day, I'll say, I noticed your phone isn't in the box. And just because you think I haven't said anything doesn't mean I don't notice. And then they get all like, oh, and then they put it in the box the next day.
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
But
so
what do you
we,
do with the Apple Watch?
yeah, we did a heavy campaign at the beginning, just having staff out during the collection process, kind of repeating what's supposed to be in the pouches. And we also reiterated, just as a tech school, and obviously through some funding from some of the electeds and different folks, we actually have a device for every student in each classroom. So there's really no need for them to bring in their own personal device. And so we really haven't had that issue. Look, we don't go in their book bags to check what they may have in there, in terms of like an extra laptop or an iPad or anything, but no one's really taken it out or using it, that we've seen. And then in terms of the buds and the beats and the headphones and all those pieces, they pretty much just keep them in their bag. We really don't. The buds we'll tell them to put, like the smaller earpieces, we tell them to put in the pouches, but the bigger, headphones, we just tell them to make sure they're off and in the bag. So we don't really have the capacity in the yonder pouches to fit the heavier, bigger gear that some of the kids bring. But it
So
hasn't come out.
they put their watches in.
If they have a watch, the watch goes in because it'll fit for the high school kids, which are mostly the kids that'll have that. The watches and the earbuds will fit in the pouch with the phone.
I have a quick question, but around the same topic. One thing I feel like Intech has always done well is like staying on top of like the technology trends of like the current times. I remember when I was there, when I first started in 2008, when I was in eighth grade, like we had the the classroom is saying, where like we'll build computers and like at that time like hardware was a big thing. Then it went to like virtual enterprise, which was also a big thing. I don't think it was there by the time I started working there, but I'm curious to know like what does technology look from a learning standpoint in terms of like using technology for good after high school? Because as a person that graduated from Intech, went to Syracuse, got an IT degree, and is using that for my work, I wonder how important it is for students to know like how to use social media for good, for like business purposes, and like a lot of kids, they're also opting out. I know we don't want to encourage this for kids, but like a lot of them start their own business through social
Yeah.
media.
Yeah.
Like I guess what are some of the education? I know you mentioned there's a program you do like with the bullying, which is like that's one side of it, which is like
Right.
good practice. But like there's also another part where it's like you could use this stuff for good. Like it's not for bullying, but like you could use it for businesses. I wonder, is Intech one day gonna start doing like I guess projects with kids? Cause I think this would be a good opportunity for kids to actually like, okay, I'm not using my phone as much as I was using it before, but like, okay, these are all the cool things I can actually do. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's my question.
So we've been really building out our kind of industry partner network. As a school that has CTE programs, the information technology program, which you're referencing, which is kind of the hardware side of the work, right, where students actually get to build computers and set up networks and understand just a touch of cybersecurity. And then the business program we have, where students learn, the basics of entrepreneurship, ideology, and then eventually running their own virtual business and competing and creating business plans and products. In more of the business class right now, we've brought in a few folks from industry that work with students through their internship on branding, right? On them branding and creating a positive social media image for themselves and how to market themselves as an individual, whether that's going to be to go to college or to apply for college or to have that college interview or a scholarship interview, or like you're saying, right? Maybe college isn't their track and they want to go into the industry side. How do they get that job? So we have a few folks that help them set up that digital resume, if you will, and how to have a positive, public image. So we've had some students that really appreciate that side, and we've seen them grow in understanding the elements that go into that. And then we'll do a lot of in-person components, one-to-one interviews sometimes with people. If the student thinks they want to be in a particular field, we try to find people in those industries to talk to them so they understand potentially what the college path might be like, or what the pay might be like, or what the job actually may entail. And if that's something they seriously want to consider, or maybe they got the fresh wake up and realize, you know what, I do not want to do that. I'm going to try something else. That is not what I thought that job was. So that's kind of how we try to bring folks in. In terms of the technology, the conversations we've had with our staff is, as a tech school, we have to understand that tech is going to play a role in our lives, right? And especially, we don't even know the role tech is going to play in like the age groups that we serve, because we just don't know where tech is going to change tomorrow. A new device is going to come out. We were fortunate enough to be a part of a group that went to Tennessee State University. I went with a teacher and one of my assistant principals for a 2-day workshop with their provost out of the Smart Lab, which is basically, they seem to be the lead researchers on all the different AI platforms, right? So everyone knows ChatGPT and everyone knows Copilot and Gemini, but there's a million others out there that do similar things or different things for certain types of thinking. And so they're like the preeminent leaders right now in the research, working with industry, working with entrepreneurs to kind of pilot out the different AI devices that are out there. So much so that MIT actually is kind of picking their brains on some of the work that they're doing out of this lab. And so we were tasked with trying to figure out as a school, how do we responsibly bring AI back into the school? And so right now we're trying to use it as a tool to help teachers understand that it's a tool that they could use maybe to save some time in thinking, planning, possibly even supporting with grading. There are programs out there that help teachers kind of grade papers and different exams quicker so that they can give more poignant feedback to students for targeted growth, which sometimes that cognitive part of grading is really hard on a teacher because you made the assignment, you gave the assignment, you're exhausted. Now you got to grade all the assignments and really think about how do I support this child in learning. So we're trying to think about how we use AI for the adult right now. But our goal is in the spring, and I just actually got an email. Forget who the organization was that sent us to think about how we would pilot it with students at the end of the year. And the thing that resonated with me when I went to Tennessee State University was the professors that were speaking to us. One of them said, a lot of people's fear, especially for students or just in general about AI, is that it's a tool to cheat. And, if we really think about just school in general, and one of the professors, God bless her, she said, look, I've come a long way.
I don't think it's us because Sylvia is still in the bag.
Okay.
Sylvia, can you hear us?
My screen is up. What happened to the sound?
No, it seems that David has froze. He's frozen.
Something happened to David?
Yeah, I think
How to
he'll.
use it.
There he is.
Oh, David, sorry, David. You left us at a cliffhanger. You were saying something really important, and then you froze.
Oh,
and now
no.
we're all curious about what you said.
Refresh where I was because I was going on there. So tell me what you heard last.
So you were talking about, at least from what I was gathering, you're talking about using AI and bringing it into the classroom and teaching the kids like how to use it in a proper way. And then you brought up
Yes.
that many people see AI as cheating,
Correct,
but
yeah.
in fact, it really is not. And I agree with you. I'm a learning specialist, so I agree with
Okay.
you on this.
Yeah.
Often people will tell me that, if you're using text to voice to text, it's cheating.
Right.
And I always say to them, it's actually much more work because when you use voice to text, you need to go back in and edit.
Correct.
And then you need to go back in and make sure that everything is the way you want it.
Yeah.
And it's much easier. Typically, I find that the students who, come in, they would rather pick up a pen and paper after they realize
Yes.
it is actually quite a bit of work. Right.
You were
Yeah.
talking about a pilot program?
So yeah. So let me see. I don't have no, give me 1 second. Let me just see what's going on. Okay. I should be good here. All right. So yeah, there's a pilot program. I have to follow up with which organization is that is interested in really kind of bringing these programs to the students. But with the cheating component, look, can you use AI? Did I lose you?
No, we're good.
Okay. Of course you can ask AI to write you the paper a certain way. But what I tell teachers and what I tell students is if you have a pattern of how a student writes and then all of a sudden the pattern changes, then that's just a way for us to engage in the conversation, right? It should be a learning moment, right? It should be an opportunity to engage in a conversation with the student. Tell me how you came up with this response, how you came up, because if they can't justify it at that point, then it becomes a question on, right, a conversation on, is this plagiarism? Did you write this work? Do you know what plagiarism is, right? Like there's plagiarism policies that all institutions have. Do you understand what that means? And so to me, I always try to come from the educator mindset. But what the professor was telling us down in Tennessee State is when there's a will, there's a way. If someone wants to cheat, they're always going to cheat, whether that's in school, whether that's in life, in business. We see it all the time. Pick up a paper, you see how people are always trying to skirt around the rules and regulations. So I think it's just important for us to put in, again, those guardrails with students to say, AI is a great think partner, right? So if you're stuck on a research topic, ask AI as a kind of chat buddy, right? What are some topics of research can I think about for my paper, right? What are some ways that I can find information? Where could I get this information from? And then there are legitimate AI bots that will actually pull from their source pool of research vetted documents that you could then use for your paper. So there's just ways to use it to help people work smarter. And I think the two main examples I'm sure we can all identify with is the math teacher that said you're not going to have a calculator all the time to do the work. Well, two things. One, we have a supercomputer in our phone. I'm on one right now talking to you guys, right? And then two, a lot of the high school programs now expect students to actually use their calculators to take the state examination. So, things just change. It's just how we kind of engage students with understanding the proper ways of using these things.
Okay, maybe one more question. We're keeping David a long time. He's being a good guy about it. No more questions? Well, David, thank you for taking the time to come here
My pleasure.
and get back to me on those two budget items.
I will. Thank you very much, folks. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Okay, you too.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, I'd like to address the minutes of September 30th. That was our last meeting. We need to either approve or disapprove them. Are there any questions on them? I did send them out. Everybody should have received them. And I do want to make one adjustment because I forgot to put the librarians' names in as having attended the meeting. And I will put that into my minutes this month because they are so great and coming each month, and I want to give them credit for doing that. We have a good relationship. I want to keep it. I don't want to anger them. So with that adjustment, are there any votes against the approving the minutes of September 30th? Are there any abstentions? So they passed. Thank you very much. Okay. I have all kinds of notes here. As far as my Sharon's report, I was a little distressed to see today that President Trump has gone one step further and is dismantling the education department. He is without Congress's approval, which I thought he needed, but in an executive order, he has determined that K through 12 and the higher education should be given to the agency of Department of Labor. It kind of boggles my mind. We will hear more about it. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I'm a little upset over it, but he doesn't listen to me, so there's nothing I can do about that. I just wanted to mention it because it just happened today, and I'm sure that it will be spoken about. In the meantime, the mayor-elect, Mandani, wants to have nothing to do with mayoral control of the schools, and that is troublesome for me too. He has 37 people on a committee. Most of them are involved with childcare, That's something
have.
that he wants to give free. And,
Sylvia,
yeah,
sorry, are you talking about the article on Chalkbeat? I actually have it pulled up if people want to see it. I'm happy to send it out.
And
Emily, is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
Nobody is raising a hand, so I don't know who's speaking.
Yeah, yes,
It's me.
Emily.
It's Emily. I
Yeah.
have I actually have I have the Chalkbeat article on Mom Donnie's transition team for education. If you want me to send, his 37 people, if you want me to send it
I
out.
have them, but I
Oh.
don't think it's really helpful to mention them because they're not people that are teachers or administrators or anything like that. They're mostly childcare and you know, other organizations that I wouldn't put on that committee. So I don't know what's going to come out of that. Do you have a feeling of the 37?
Me?
Do you agree with him or do you disagree with him?
Somebody stood out to me was Josh Wallach, who was the deputy chancellor for early childhood education, that really expanded UPK and 3K to citywide, and ran the Department of Enrollment and Strategy through the pandemic, and I thought was pretty impressive. But that was just one name that stood out to me. But I don't mean to get bogged down in politics.
Uh-huh. Well, I'm not involved with that, so I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I believe you. The thing is that most of the issues that are happening because they're going around the norm and putting nonprofits and childcare situations where there should be other people involved. So I find it very disturbing, and I guess that I have to wait until it actually happens to be able to have an opinion on it. Does any else have an opinion on it?
Mm-mm.
I think it's something.
So we might not even have a education committee very long. So in the meantime, um, I think I'll go to the libraries report. I know that Rebecca is here and Maria is here from Jerome Park branch.
Hi, good afternoon. Good evening.
Hi.
Hi, can you
How
hear
are
me?
things going at your branches?
At Jerome Park, we have a new adult librarian that started last week. So he's onboarding, so we're very happy about that. So now we're fully staffed with librarians. So we have a children's librarian, a young adult librarian, and now an adult librarian. So I'm hoping to provide more adult focused programs, more tech programs for adults, and also reading as is one of our goals at the library. We also have a couple of adult programs. On Mondays, we have adult crafting corners that happen at 11 in the morning. We haven't been too successful, so we thought we'd share it again. Hopefully somebody can come in and join our program. Literacy and community, which short for LINK, is returning to Jerome Park on December 16th. And they're going to be hosting their reading discovery program at 11. And also that day we'll also have an adult program that's going to be exploring New York Public Library databases at 1 in the afternoon. That's on December 16th. And then for the kiddos that day, we'll have Next Generation Sciences from 3:30 to 4:30 in the afternoon. We also have Jerome Park is collaborating with Sedgwick Library and Francis Martin to bring a job research fair in January. So this will be happening
Okay.
on January 13th
Mm-hmm.
from 11 to 3. So we're finalizing that. That's all we have for Jerome Park.
Okay, for Riverdale, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes?
yes,
Hello?
go ahead.
Hi. Oh, okay, wonderful.
Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, good evening on this cold. It's horrible out. Riverdale. So we're doing lots of things as usual at Riverdale. I won't go down the complete list, but I will send you a copy of our calendar tomorrow.
Oh, great.
One thing that is notable is that we are also looking to hire another adult librarian. But we have added a few adult programs, including, well, it's more of a family program, Cozy Knitting or Cozy Crochet. And it's every other Saturday. It's just a nice way for the community to get together and make something, especially during this cold weather. So
Yes,
that will be on Saturdays at 3. We have community play date for the children. It's indoor play date, which also involves literacy and a story time component. And that's on Saturdays at 11. And we have our usual early childhood programs and our writers workshop and our 2 afternoon teen programs. And all of our programs focus not on literacy and books and reading. We also have the Jerome Park and all the West Bronx libraries are involved in this. It's a reading challenge. So we're giving out incentives. So every 5 visits with checkouts, adults, children, and teens receive a little special something. It might be a metal bookmark or a little keychain, stuffy for the book bags that are very popular with the children. Just something to encourage and reward reading. So, and that's working out very well at Riverdale. So just stop by and see. Lots of good things happening.
Let me ask you a question, Rebecca. Who is the librarian at Kingsbridge?
His name is Bizrat. If you want, I can ask him to email you.
Yeah, would you? Because
I will.
I haven't met him and I would like to get to know him.
Okay, I will. He's in my peer group. I'll speak to him on Thursday.
Okay. I just want to mention if someone is here that does not know, Kingsbridge branch has a 7-day program now, including Sundays. And I'm sure that he's very busy.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't want to get in his way, but I would like to know him. So it would be great if you could do that for me.
I will. I'll connect him. He's a very nice and personable
Mm-hmm.
library
I'm
manager,
sure.
very involved. So I will definitely reach out to him and ask him to send you an email.
Right. And also being it's budget time again, I'm going to ask either one of you or both of you if you can think of anything that you specifically want that I can put on my budget capital or expense, please let me know. I mean, there's still a lot of time. It's only November, but everything is going faster somehow. So please get in touch with me if you have anything you
I-
want me to know.
Yeah, I
I'll
just
reach
wanted
out.
to-
Oh,
No,
I'll reach.
Rebecca, I'll reach out to you so you can help me with that because I do have an inquiry.
Okay, great.
Okay. And I'll talk to our government affairs department and they'll
Uh-huh.
send you our official email.
Right, right. Okay, thank you, Rebecca.
Not a problem. Anytime.
Thank you. Okay, the only thing that we have not done is the budget. And as I said earlier, I have not sent out, we are supposed to get a associate for the office, the board office. And I was waiting for her to come aboard, or him, because they usually help me with the letters to the schools, asking them what they need, because the principals or staff, know much more than I do as to what schools need. If you know of anything that a school needs that your child is going to, or just by chance that you know that they need it, please let me know, and we'll discuss it at our next meeting. Usually, we don't hear anything from the Office of Management and Budget, but this year, the borough president picked up some of our requests and did give money to schools, and it's wonderful. Hopefully, we can have some extra stuff like that also this year, and she will do that again. Obviously, she has some money that she wants to spread around, and certainly the schools need all the help they can get. So, one of the schools that I was very excited about is the Marie Curie school. They train students to be nurses. They just came out and said that that's not going to be a profession anymore. It's not going to have a degree. I don't know what's going on with that, but the borough president picked it up. OMB must have gotten that request about 8 times from me and never gave me anything. So she picked it up and gave them $250,000, which is not the world, but certainly helps get some updated supplies that they need in teaching. So that's just an indication that it can be done. It's just that we need the right person to do it. Councilman Dinowitz also gave money to the field behind JFK, and that got rehabbed, and I understand it's great. And these are things that, even though OMB does not give us it directly, but there are other people, other elected officials who have money, who are willing to finance some of these things. So that's always an option. So I feel very good about that.
Excuse me, Sylvia, there's a question, a hand raised
Yeah,
over here.
I don't see anyone.
Hey, I have my hand raised. This is Edwin. It's not related to this topic, but I just wanted to ask before the meeting closes out. It was related to new schools that are under construction or planned construction in the area.
The two, yeah,
Well, I don't know. I don't know how many there are. I know there are. I
there are
thought it was,
two.
there are two. Okay. Do you know? Where can we get information? Are they going to be elementary schools? Are they private? Are they charter? Are they public?
Right. They are public schools. They are going to be elementary to 5th grade. One is on Revere Place on West 239th Street. That one is connected to a building that's going up there, so that's affordable housing. We don't know how that's going to work out yet. I don't think that the school was started yet, but they are planning to be finished with it in 2028. That is a very loose estimate because the school construction authority takes a long time. If a builder or a developer was doing it, it would go a lot faster. So, or if it was a charter school, it would go faster. And the other school is the Riverdale Motel, the Van Cortlandt Motel, which is on 254th Street and Broadway. And that is supposed to be finished in 2029. It will also be an elementary school till 5th grade. They have promised to come. They said they were, I had called him before last meeting, and they said that they were in the design stage. And hopefully when they're done with that, and I will ask them again to come and tell us what it's going to look like. So,
Okay. So those are both confirmed 100% happening, basically.
yes,
Okay. And do you know how how that impacts like zoning and whatnot? Like if
no, that
no.
is up to DOE. It has nothing to do with school construction authority. It gets very hairy when, certain agencies are involved with certain things because some take care of something and the others take care of other things. So school construction builds them and DOE occupies them.
I got it. Okay. And if you like for the one, I guess particularly the one in 2028, when do they announce like like if the zone school is going to change at all? Because I guess right now there aren't many elementary schools, right? And now there's
Well,
two
there
new ones.
are elementary schools, but they're all occupied.
Okay. So there's
I'm
like
not sure I understand the question.
No, I was curious on how they would, like when they would decide if zone
Who
schools
goes
are
there?
changed. Yeah.
Yes, that is up to DOE, and we have no idea, and neither does the School Construction Authority.
Okay.
It will be District 10. Both schools are in District 10. So it will be, the same district, but how they're going to do it exactly, where the borderlines will lie, I don't know.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you for the
Sylvia,
question.
it looks like Julie also has her hand out.
Yeah, Julie. Did you want to speak, Julie?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Oh, Julie, you're very, very low. It sounds like you're quite far away.
Okay, can you hear me?
No.
I'm gonna Daniel then.
Okay. I think she was gonna dial in. I have headphones on so I can hear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she would dial in.
Okay. And I guess while we're waiting, there's one more hand up.
Who is that? I don't see any hands at all.
Okay, yeah, it's
Hi,
go.
my name is Adriel Louie. I just wanted to talk to the community board tonight about some legislation that is currently under consideration. And I just know that the meeting might wrap up soon, so I just wanted to know if I should do that now or will there be more time at the end?
It would be a good time to do it.
Okay, thank you. So, Good evening, Community Board 8. My name is Adrielle Louie. I'm a Bronx resident and a medical student at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine, as well as a master's candidate at the CUNY School of Public Health. And I'm here tonight to discuss pending legislation that would help make New York City schools safer and healthier. So despite the fact that measles has been declared eliminated in the US since the year 2000, New York City has seen many documented cases of measles in 2025. Canada's recent loss of its measles elimination status reminds us not to take our public health for granted. And we know New York City has experienced several recent measles outbreaks, the worst of which was in 2018, when over 600 cases were confirmed. More than 40% of patients who were hospitalized had to be admitted to the ICU. And patients were vulnerable to complications like pneumonia, encephalitis, and blood clots. Median patient age was 3 years old.
Excuse me, Adrielle, do you have a question?
I was going to just talk a little bit about the legislation and ask if the committee would be willing to write a letter of support to the committee members city council members.
Whose legislation is this?
It's in the Committee for Education, so I was hoping for a letter of support to the Committee on Education regarding this legislation.
But what part
I'm
of
not familiar
government?
with it at all.
Sorry?
I'm not
What
familiar with
part
the legislation. Who's speaking?
Sorry, this is Emily. I'm just trying to understand, Ms. Lewis, what part of government?
So this is in City Council, and so the hope was that you could write a letter of support to City Council and the Committee on.
And what council member is putting it forward?
There are a few council members. There's Shekhar Krishnan, who is the lead member, but it's being voted by the Committee on Education. So there are
By council member Joseph's committee. Do you mind sending us did you send the legislation to the community board?
I can send that, and as well as the testimony that I was going to give today. Just if we're running out of time, I can send that as well in an email. Would that work?
That would be great. It's usually like we're total. I mean, I can only speak for myself. Pro.
They'll send me a copy of it.
Yeah, sending it ahead of time is usually really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and to be added. Also, it's really helpful to have it ahead of time, and it's really helpful to have it on the agenda. This is usually like a pro-vaccine, and our council member is pro-vaccine.
Yeah.
Like we're
Mm-hmm.
and to
Maybe a
support
resolution or something else. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I called ahead just to see like if it would be okay for me to talk, and it seemed like it would, but I just
It is, but you know, it got a little lengthy, and I'd rather have something in front of me so that I know exactly what you're talking about. Julie?
No speakers.
Okay, yeah, is it muted? Okay. Hi, Julie.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, can you do me a favor? Can you mute yourself on the screen, like on the computer? Because it's getting a little bit of...
Okay, right.
Okay, perfect. I'm just gonna, hey, Daniel, can I make this a bit louder here so here? Okay, good. We got you, Julie. Okay.
Okay. I was trying to go back to the point that Julie was doing her report for the John F. Kennedy, the EQ. She had mentioned money had to be given by the council members, which is. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Sylvia, can you hear her? Can you hear her, Sylvia?
Yeah, sort of. You have an echo,
She's talking about, she says she's going back to the beginning of your presentation